Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have agreed a fee for Wan Bissaka if you believe the journalist Duncan Castles. However, if you believe the Daily Mail, they say they haven't agreed a fee. I think what we've got here is, well, let me just read the headlines first of all. Duncan Castles, who, to be honest with you, was always considered to be a journalist that was, well, he is very, very pro Jose Mourinho. He was always considered to be pro Jose Mourinho. And when Mourinho was the manager of Manchester United, when he spoke, a lot of people listened because there was that feeling that he had an in with Jose Mourinho. Since Mourinho's gone, we don't really know. However, he has come out tonight, a couple of hours ago, and said that Manchester United have agreed a fee of £55 million with Crystal Palace. Now, we were live at 3 o'clock talking about the Max Aarons link from Norwich at right back there, Heisage from Napoli, and also a potential third bid from Manchester United going in for Wan Bissaka, which was rumoured to be totalling 50 million, 45 million with 5 million add-ons. So Duncan Castles, a couple of hours after that, comes out with that Manchester United have agreed a fee of £55 million, which has not been quoted. I think 50 million was what Palace wanted, so why has it gone to 55 million? I'll tell you what I think's happened here. Honestly, this is just my opinion. I think Duncan Castles has jumped too soon. I think he's jumped early on a sure thing. I think, on a horse race, and the favourite can see the finish line, and he's like 10 furlongs in front of the chasing pack. I think Duncan Castles gone, I'm going to have a tenner on that, and I'm going to say it's a £55 million deal. Because I think if you're first on it, it's United's first signing of the summer. If you're first to say it's deal done, everyone's going to remember you were the first, and everything he says for the rest of the summer and his podcast, everyone watches it because they go, he's in the know. So I think, maybe I'm not doing him service. Maybe he actually has got that. Maybe this will all come out accurately that it is 55 million, and if he does, he obviously has got a very credible source, and I'll take it back. But I think he's right. I think United are going to sign Wan Bissaka, and I think he's just jumping a little bit early, predicting is the word I was going to say, that this is going to be roughly around the fee, and he just wants to be the first one to say it's a done deal. Because the funny thing is, Sky Sports have been leading on the Wan Bissaka thing at Sky Cavi, that will come up on the screen in a minute. They've always been first with this, and they're very, very, very quiet. So I think it's going to be true. I think it is going to be true. I think we will sign Wan Bissaka, and I just think maybe he's just jumped a little bit early so that he can say he was first, which happens a lot in all areas of journalism. So, look, I think United will sign Wan Bissaka. Very, very good signing. I was having a bit of an argument with a Liverpool fan just before I came on live because they were trying to make a joke out of the fact 55 million for Wan Bissaka, 75 million for Van Dijk. And I said, but what's your point there? It's an irrelevant point because when you signed Van Dijk, he wasn't the best centre-back in the world. He was just a good Southampton centre-back, and Southampton were a mid-table team. Wan Bissaka is a very good young right-back, but in 18 months, he might be one of the best right-backs in Europe, in which case, he's £20 million less than Van Dijk, and he's one of the best right-backs in Europe. I just don't think there's any comparison to it. He's 21 years of age. He's very, very good. He scored an own goal last night. So what? Lots of good players have scored own goals. He's a very, very good player for Manchester United. Well, I've just said it myself. I haven't got an in the know about Wan Bissaka. It's interesting that the in the knows, I've seen some of them coming out going, I told you this deal was going to be done in March. I told you in May it was going to be done. Look, Manchester United didn't even start negotiating with Crystal Palace until the beginning of June. So anybody who said, I told you in May, I told you in March, I mean, what's the purpose of trying to be an in the know? Like, I'm pretending I've got in the know information from Manchester United. What did you know in May then? What did you know in March? That United were interested in Wan Bissaka? Well, what the shit? Of course United are going to be interested in Wan Bissaka, but the negotiations haven't even started till June. So what did you know in May when we've only just agreed the fee in June? So what did you know in May? Oh, you're in your crystal ball? I don't get this obsession with I'm the first, I know this, I know that. It's quite clear that United have not sorted the deal out, and it's not even official yet, but the negotiations have been going on for the last 10 days. My friend said Woodward signed Dan James thinking he was a right-back, but was looking at the Swansea team sheets upside down. Great football knowledge, says Mark Whitten. And Jam Banjovi, I love his name, says that I hope speed up the signings now, we should kick on from here. And Dawar Mushtaq says, Mark, I tweeted Christophe Terrer, HLN in England, says it's not agreed yet, though Palace do want 55 million. So I do agree he jumps the gun. Well, I really like Christophe Terrer, and you should give him a follow. It is at HLNINENG Eland. Somebody, can they put that in the top comment after the show, actually, and I'll pin it. He's a really good person to follow. Belgian journalist, very, very good with all the Belgian news, and I really, really like him. So, yeah, give him a follow. And the Daily Mail, I must just say, the Daily Mail, whether you think they're credible or not, they're saying that, look, United probably will sign Wan Bissaka, but a deal's not been agreed yet. So, look, there's a question mark to it. I think it's going to happen, and I think what you've got here is posturing to be first, because Sky Sports are probably going to be first, because they, in fairness, Sky Sports are the one that have pretty much led on the Wan Bissaka deal. So I think maybe keep out for the next couple of hours. Maybe something will come out from that. But Fernandez next, says Michael Jones. But it's an interesting bit of news, and I just wonder, actually, another theory could be that this has been fed out by the club to Duncan Castles. Maybe he has got a good connection with Manchester United, because Wan Mata, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, weren't we? We know Wan Mata was going to be the next big announcement from Manchester United. Even though yesterday we knew Wan Mata had got the contract extension with United, leak like a sieve, you get the information before United release it. So United tonight did release that Wan Mata has got a 3-year contract. Now, the Wan Mata defenders want to say it's a 2-year contract with the option of a further year. But they're hypocrites, because when I say it's a 3-year contract, they're like, it's not. Tell the truth, Mark. It's a 2-year contract with the option of another year. Oh, but it's a 3-year contract. But Pogba's got 3 years left on his contract. Well, it's exactly the same thing. It's 2 years with the option of another year. And so, Wan Mata shouldn't be getting 2 years anyway. He shouldn't be getting that. And you know what? What I liked about the Wan Mata contract extension was that it had direct quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying how happy he was to keep somebody to develop youth who's got great experience and leadership skills. So at least we know it's from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and this myth that Woodward is condemning Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to players that he doesn't want to keep is actually factually. It's Ollie who wants to keep Ashley Young. It's Ollie who wants to keep Phil Jones. It's Ollie who wants to keep Chris Smalling. It's Ollie who wants to keep Wan Mata. And I want to know that as a fan, because I think it's wrong, but at least I know it's my manager who I support making those decisions, and I hope he's proved right. But at least we know he is making those decisions. On leadership with Wan Mata, I've said it before, where was the leadership in the last 3 months of the season when everyone down tools and played like a bunch of pussies? You know, seriously, like, where was that leadership then? How is this leadership helping Angel Gomez get games for Manchester United when Mata is basically taking his spot? So all this talk of developing youth and leadership, I just don't buy it. I personally have a theory on why Wan Mata's been kept at United. We'll talk about it later in the show, because I don't really want to dwell on that for the moment. What I'm saying is Manchester United released this afternoon that Wan Mata's got his contract, and I tell you what, some of the replies to the official Manchester United Twitter account, some of the replies to Wan Mata himself were pretty harsh. Like, I would not reply to Wan Mata. I like Wan Mata, and I wouldn't be there going, get out my club and stuff like that. I just think that's too far. Maybe it's different to the United Twitter account because United have made the decision, but it's not Mata's fault. So anyway, there's a lot of negativity, toxicity this afternoon because of that Wan Mata signing, and boom, within an hour, you've got a story coming out that United have had a bid accepted for Wan Bissaka. Now, I don't believe in coincidence. I actually think United have thought, bloody hell, look at the reaction to that Wan Mata thing. We need a positive. We've got a negative. Right now, we need 2 positives. One to cancel out the negative and one to make a new positive. Alan Partridge quote there. But it's true. I think United needed a positive this afternoon or this evening because the Wan Mata thing went down like a lead balloon. It really did. It went down like a Mars bar in a vegetarian. No, that's wrong. I've got it wrong. I've tried an analogy and it's gone bloody wrong. I knew one day it would. But what I meant to say is it went down like a Mars bar in a Weight Watchers convention. But actually, they'd eat the Mars bar, wouldn't they? Even though they're trying to lose weight. Maybe that's being unfair, but I don't know. But so you have the Wan Mata contract extension, and then you leak the Wan Bissaka thing because suddenly a pissed off fan base is like, yeah, we're finally doing a bit of business. We're not doing a bit of business because it's not official. It's not, and apparently it's not agreed. But I think it's close to being agreed, and I think that's another reason why it's coming out. So look, it's a positive thing at the end of the day. Welcome to Gerard Savio, latest member of the United Stand Members Club, and Hugo. And you can see on the screen at the moment they're the quotes about Wan Bissaka, Max Aarons. And as you can see, they're all coming from at Sky Cave, if that's how you do it. And he's the one who's led on the right back stuff. So until he tweets out United have agreed a fee with Wan Bissaka, that's when we genuinely believe it. But I think at the moment it's been leaked a little bit early, because there's a little bit of a gamble on it being true, and it gets positivity in the fan base, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. That's good club management. I mean, I was saying last night, I ain't got a problem if United have released the Wan Mata thing and everyone's pissed off and they go, let's get some positivity out with the Wan Bissaka thing. I would applaud the club for that, because actually what that does is it makes us feel happy. And at the end of the day, as a Manchester United fan, I want you and me to feel happy. So if they've released something out into the press that makes us feel happy and it's going to happen, I'm pleased about that. I'm pissed off if it doesn't happen, but you know, I think United could have been doing this a lot more over the last 6 weeks. We had a bad end to the season. We've had a bad 6 weeks in the transfer market. And I think they could have done a little bit more to release a little bit about what we're doing to make us feel a bit positive. Because it's been a long, hard slog. But hopefully this Wan Bissaka deal will be ratified very, very soon. Hopefully by the end of this week. And then we go into other deals after that. Hugo Sims says, I'm happy that we're going to sign him, but I hope Delo gets game time over Young, because he's so angry that Ollie doesn't see anything him. I agree. Well, look, Ashley Young should never be, you know, I'm going to be absolutely blunt here. I thought Ashley Young was arguably one of the worst players in the Premier League last season, consistently, not just at Manchester United, and he should never really be wearing a Manchester United shirt again. My sceptical negativity makes me think, well, now we've got 2 right-backs, we'll probably see Ashley Young solving our right-wing problem. You know, I don't know, but he shouldn't be playing for United again, surely not. Duncan Castles sounds like a furniture store, says Jordan Constantino. Well, I must just actually, I don't know whether I wrote it down. I thought I wrote it down somewhere. I can't even do it. Oh, at Belial the Lord. Actually, I was reading the live comments before we went live, because a lot of people get in the live comments before we go live. And he was saying, if you believe Duncan Castles, you haven't done your research on him. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, of course. Ollie's at the wheel. Do you think Zaha's sell-on clause had a factor on the transfer? So, do I think so? I don't know. I mean, there was something today that Manchester United are willing to go up to £50 million cash because they're going to sell Darmian straight away to get 10 million back. I don't think we're selling him to Crystal Palace, but I mean, that's an interesting point. I want to come back to that as well. Adrian Thomas says we should get Fernandes, Diop is class, Wan Bissaka, Rabiot, Neves and a striker. Only if we sell Lukaku, then work on the forwards line, because forward line is good enough. I was going to say that there. I mean, whatever the... could Daniel James could surprise us next season, says Arcop. I think he can. I don't think the expectations for Daniel James should be massive, but I do think he could be a really good signing for us. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody. Are you crying again tonight? Says Steve Wall. No, I'm all right now. I have a little vent and then I feel all right. That's what everybody should do. You know, on a very serious note there, I actually wish I think the last time I cried was at my grand's funeral, which is a couple of years ago. I've probably cried twice in the last 10 years, and touch wood, I won't be crying again, because I can only ever cry at like major, you know, grief moments. But I know some people, I know blokes who can release and cry every day if they want to do it. And actually, you know, whether it's getting the pressure out or getting the cry out, very, very good for you. Very, very therapeutic, rather than bottling things up. I wish I could cry a little bit more, to be honest with you. Very serious thing there, but I do, because it's very good for you. It's very therapeutic. So don't take the piss out of people crying, is what I'm saying. Cry me a river. Bit of Justin. Did you hear about Diop and Martial swap deal, says Ollie's at the wheel. You know what? Watch the United Stand at 7 a.m. every morning, 8 p.m. every night, and every other live show, because we get a lot of repetition on here. We've spoken about Diop and Martial. I had somebody this afternoon asking me about Steve Walsh as director of football, and whether Sir Alex Ferguson should have been overruled. That was 2 shows ago. We spoke about that last night. You know, we got a finger on the pulse here, and it's not just because of me and the team behind the United Stand like Drawty. It's you lot as well. Your live comments. We're on the pulse. Things happen, and we talk about it. We absolutely do. I want to talk about young right wing, then new contract for him, says Dazu W. Well, he's already had the new contract, hasn't he? But what I wanted to say is, something that really doesn't probably get enough attention as it should, thanks for the contribution, Michael O.B., is that with regards to the transfer budget, 200 million quid, if we spend 50 million pounds on Wan Bissaka, that's 25% of our transfer budget gone on a right back. A lot of people love Wan Bissaka, and I think he's a really good signing. I think he's defensively so good, so that's going to be a big advantage for us. But if you'd said to me in May, when we weren't even in for Wan Bissaka, would I want to spend £50 million on Wan Bissaka? It's only because I'm sort of lost in the moment of the positivity now that I would go yes. But if you'd asked me in May, I would have said no. I would have said, you want me to spend 25% of our transfer budget on a right back? No. We need a centre back. We need a right winger, and we need 2 midfielders. They're the priority positions. A right back is a luxury at number 5, but it's not a priority. So I was thinking that today. You know, I'm very happy with the Wan Bissaka signing. Very, very happy as he comes on the screen next to me. I'm very happy with your Wan Bissaka, or Aaron as your first name is. But in realistic terms, you're not the right You are the right signing. But we bloody better get a centre back, a right winger, and 2 midfielders, because they're hot topic priorities. They are, and people will say, "Well, Wan Bissaka's such a good signing," and he is. But you know, no one wants Ashley Young to play football. You know, nobody does. Like literally nobody. I would imagine behind the scenes, his family probably think he's not that good either. I'm only joking, but my point is, if Ashley Young doesn't play, you've still got Delot. There's a young lad called Ethan Laird coming through who probably isn't quite ready yet, but you've got Delot. We could have just about got by, but we've got to get a centre-back, 2 midfielders and a right winger. And if 50 million has been spent on from our £200 million budget, we've only got £150 million to bring 4 key players in. However, there is another key to that, and there's Paul Pogba. Hello, Paul. Will you stay or will you go? But whether Pogba goes or not, Lukaku wants to go. And if we get, say, 50 million from Lukaku deal, because Inter can't really go above that, that's another 50 million. You get Darmian out the door, that's another 15 million, so you've got 65 million there. You get Rojo out the door, maybe that's another 25 million. So you're up to 85 million there. So maybe you can justify the Wan Bissaka signing by the money we're going to get from sales. But it's going to be interesting to see what we do. I think United will sign 4 players. I think the total will be 5. Daniel James, Wan Bissaka and 3 others. But it could be more. It could be less. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, look, I don't want to fast forward to August the 8th, which is, I think that's the day that the transfer window closes. I don't want to fast forward to that because I think the despair and the joy that you get from a transfer window is a roller coaster, and I do like the pre-season and everything like that. So I don't want to fast forward to it. But there's no qualms here. There's no hidden agenda here. On August the 8th, when that clock strikes midnight or whatever the time the transfer window closes, we will know how much we've spent. And we will know how many players we've brought in. And at that moment in time, you as a football fan, as a United fan, will be able to sit there and go, right, I think it was a good transfer window. I think that was a disgraceful transfer window. I think it was an okay transfer window. I think we're screwed. Whatever. You will know. And I can offer you a couple of examples. If, when that transfer window closes, we've spent 280 million and we've sold Lukaku and a few others, and we've bought 6 players, one of which is a centre-back, 2 are midfielders and 1's a right winger, you'd sit there and go, that was a really good transfer window. On the other hand, when that transfer window closes, we've spent 150 million, we've bought a right back, Daniel James, and a centre-back. That's a crap transfer window. Where's the midfielders? Where's the right winger? And we've had plenty of time to do it. So it's all about suck it and see, isn't it? That's what she said. Hugo Sims says, apparently we won't let Lukaku go unless we get Skriniar in the deal. I'm going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow on Transfer Daily. But, yeah, well, I've spoken about it a little bit before as well. I think that with that, I quite like the Icardi deal. Alkan Mahmoud says we'd be lucky to get 10 million for Rojo. Well, Everton were willing to give us 20 million for him, I think, last August. So I think we'd get a little bit more than that. Bruno Fernandes for 70 million. Ruben Diaz for 60 million. Tillemans for 40 million. Lozano for 40 million, says Haroon. I mean, a little interesting thing I can tell you about Lozano, though. I'll give you this now because there'll be something else I can talk about on Transfer Daily tomorrow. The interesting thing about Wan Bissaka is that Napoli are very close to a deal. He wants to come to United, according to reports, but United are not even bidding for him. However, Napoli are basically saying they can't have James Rodriguez and Hirving Lozano, and if they get James Rodriguez, they won't get Hirving Lozano, so he might still be a possibility. But it goes back to what we've said before, and this is what I want to talk about for the next little bit of the show, and I really want to take some of your comments as well. We are snoozing, because if we do end up getting that Lozano, it's only because we've been lucky. Like, Napoli could have had this deal done, and then we would never get him. And I think we are we are snoozing on some deals at the moment. And I said this. I said this morning. Let me just take this super chat from Mark Whitten. He says, what positions transfers do you feel we could be left until January? We won't sign 5 players. It's never happened before with United. Look, to me, it's so difficult, Mark. I mean, I think that's such a bloody good question. I'm going to applaud that. What a question that is, because if we don't get 5 signings done this summer, if we don't get the centre-back, the 2 midfielders, the right winger and the right back, it looks like we're going to get the right back, what position would you sacrifice till the next transfer window? And actually, I would have to say, I don't think that there is any excuse. We didn't sign anyone in January. That was a wasted transfer window. We've had no football since the middle of May. We've got no World Cup. We've got the longest transfer window we've ever had to do business because we're not impacted by European finals or major tournaments. I mean, the World Cup is a massive tournament and it shuts everything down. June was basically about the World Cup last year in July. So there's no excuse. And we did come into this transfer window desperately needing a leading centre-back who's good in the air. We desperately need reinforcements in the midfield because we've lost one of our best midfielders in Herrera, and it wasn't a great midfield anyway, depth-wise. We desperately need a right winger because we are shit down there. I mean, where Mata's playing, I don't know, but I look back to some of his games last season. The first 2 games, I mean, nearly a year ago, Wan Mata was playing on the right wing against Leicester and Brighton and was atrocious a year ago. And a year later, we're giving him a 3-year contract. He was done a year ago, but that's another comment. The reality is that right wing position it's dead food, whatever the saying is. It's rubbish. So if you're saying to me, what would I leave till January? Well, what can I leave? We desperately need a centre-back who's good in the air and a leader. We desperately need 2 midfielders, and we desperately need a right winger. And the right back, as I said with it before, that's probably the position I would have said leave till January, but that's the position we're going to get. I don't think we can leave right wing, 2 midfielders and a centre-back. I think that's going to leave us in real problems next season. So I don't think any of those positions can be left, if I'm honest with you. Whether they will be or not, I don't know, but I don't think there's any excuse either. Newhan Mark, would you prefer Ndombele or Tielemans as a Pogba replacement? I've gone quiet. That doesn't normally happen, Rafael Segueras. What would you lot prefer? Prediction for Rant's fight, mate. Love the channel, says Joe Don. I need to start getting the link in the video description about Rant's fight, so join me tomorrow night for that. But and I'll give you my prediction then as well, because we'll talk about it a little bit more. It's Rant who says dead food, you see. That's why it's got you thinking about it. I'm trying to think. I would probably go Ndombele but I do really like Yuri Tielemans. I've got to be honest with you. So yeah, that's what I would do with that. I don't know what's gone here. My live comments is frozen, which is absolutely superb. I'll come back to it. Yeah, I'll come back to that because what I was saying is, let me just upload. Okay, we've got it back. Yeah, we got it back. It froze. Sorry, I couldn't take any comments. A few people talking about Aubameyang. That was mentioned this morning on Transfer Daily. Again, it's old news, but I can't see that happening if I'm totally honest with you. Dalot as a temporary right winger, says Aditya. Oh, mate, you've dropped my mood. You've dropped my mood. I'm not talking about somebody's name there. I mean, you've dropped my mood. It's like that has been mentioned a lot by a lot of you in the live comments. I won't mention it because it makes sick come into my mouth. I mean, that really worries me. That terrifies me. We're buying Wan Bissaka so we can put Dalot at right wing. God almighty, for God's sake, please no. I can't be doing with this anymore. Manchester United have been doing this for frigging years. Moving players from positions to play in other positions. We did it with Valencia and Young to right back from right wing. Please don't put Dalot as a right winger. Oh, but he's got a good cross on him. He's got lots of energy. Is he a right winger? No. He's a frigging right back. I cannot deal with that shit next season. If we start doing that again, putting people into positions that they don't bloody play. Oh, God. We're Manchester United, for God's sake. We're Manchester United. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. Why would we take a right back and put him to frigging right wing? Go and buy a right winger. Like, please go and buy a right winger. Do not put Mata, Lingard or Delo at right wing. I can't deal with that. If you're going to do that, play Tahith Chong every week. At least he's a frigging right winger. I really don't want that to happen. Do you think we're not signing a right winger because we will be playing Chong more, says Lewis Prendy? Honest answer, no. I don't think Gomez and Chong will play hardly at all next season. And I think the Wan Mata signing has screwed Gomez over. And I don't see Tahith Chong starting much either. I really hope that both those players go out on loan next season because it's the only way they're going to play regular first-team football. That might come across as a bit cynical, but I don't believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his youth development. I don't. And that's not really Ole's fault. I've heard it from Mourinho. I just don't think United do develop youth as much as they should do anymore. And I've got no faith that Twan Seaby, Gomez, Chong will get any time next season, really. I think Greenwood probably will because he's so good, but I don't think that the others will. I hope I'm proved wrong. Krish J. Satar says, "Hi Mark, I agree with your opinion about Pogba, but I now wonder if he really was a bad influence and a virus, as Mourinho said. Ed got rid of Mourinho to keep him happy, and now he wants to go when things don't go his way. Seems selfish," says Krish. I mean, look, very, very quickly on Paul Pogba. I read something today that when you go public to say that you want to leave a football club, then you do it for two reasons. One, the obvious one, that you want to leave, or two, the fact that you're doing it to get a better contract. So if you say publicly, "I want to go," when you speak to the club and they say, "Well, you're not going," and you say, "Well, I will stay if you give me more money." Very risky move for Paul Pogba, but I wouldn't put it past him because a lot of people do it. But it's a very risky move for Pogba because if he does go and get a big contract and stay at Manchester United, he's going to get a lot of backlash from that, isn't he? Because I would say 30% of the fan base don't like Pogba anyway. And I would say after this, it might have gone up a bit. And also, it's probably damage that's going to be very hard for him to turn around. Basically, if he's doing it for a new contract, he better play absolutely superb for United for the first 3 months of the season, every single game. Because as soon as he drops a bad performance, he's going to get a load of shit, isn't he? So, I don't know. Does Pogba really want to go, or is he doing it for a new contract? We're about to find out. But I think he's still going to find it difficult to come back from that. But I mean, I do like Pogba, and I actually think if he wants to go, he's done the right thing. If he's doing it for a new contract, I think it's a dangerous game, but we would benefit from that because he would still be here. John Pereshotman says, "Who from the youth setup can fill the right wing?" Well, Chong might not be ready yet anyway, but he can do it. He's probably the only one at the moment who's capable of doing it. Ramos has done what Pogba's done for years, Barry Lee. Yeah, and it depends on your position, really, doesn't it? It depends how strong you are in a club. I haven't seen Lingard's Snapchat. It's probably for the best, Charlie. And I was very excited when Fred signed for his last year, Bhagwan Singh. Yeah, I was. I'd seen him, not loads, I'd seen him play for Shakhtar in the Champions League a couple of times, and I think he looked like a good player. I still think he can be a good player. I just don't think we fancy him that much. Please do smash a like on the video, everyone. Let's see if we can get 2,000 likes while we're live, and make sure to subscribe. I said it this afternoon. Some of you maybe weren't watching this afternoon. Me and Flex are very, very busy working on the United Stand get together for 500,000 subscribers on August the 8th, and everyone's going to be invited, and it's going to be a great night. We've got DJs, guests, the lot. But we've got to get to 500,000 subscribers to do it. So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. And if you are already subscribed, just please click that share button, share it on Facebook, on Twitter, and hopefully we will get there. But really looking forward to that. Philip Richardson says, Ed and Sir Alex fallen out over restructuring of the club. Do you think Sir Alex leaving would tip the fans over the edge? So I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson's going to turn his back on Manchester United, is he? But the thing is, Ed Woodward, Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't have much power at Manchester United. Sir Bobby Charlton doesn't. They are basically figurehead members of the board, but the man in charge is Ed Woodward, whether you like that or not. Virgil Hainsey, Pogba to Juve, we probably still owe them 60 million of the 89 million fee anyway. Well, that's a very valid point. We might still own money from that. We might. And Chloe Jenkins, remember Rooney played that card too. He did, Chloe. He did. He said he was leaving and then he signed a new contract, and a lot of fans never forgave him for it. So, that's what I mean. Some people won't forgive Pogba for publicly saying he wants a new challenge, whether he stays or not. And the issue is, some people didn't like Pogba before that. It wasn't the case with Rooney. Everyone liked Rooney. The people who didn't like Rooney were because of what he did publicly there. So, it's interesting. But just to come back on that, hopefully this Wan Bissaka, just if people have joined a little bit late, Duncan Castles, who's a journalist who was always rumoured to be very close to Mourinho, has come out this evening and said that Manchester United have agreed a £55 million deal to sign Wan Bissaka from Crystal Palace. My theory on that is that I do think we're going to sign Wan Bissaka, and I think that what's happened there with that story, it's just jumping a little bit ahead. Like, as I said at the start, it's like the favourites running away with the race. He's nearly at the finish line, so you quickly chuck all your money on it and say, yes, he's won the race. He's not quite won the race yet, but he probably is going to win the race. So I think that story is just about trying to be first, so that when it does happen, everyone goes, well, he was right. It's a gamble, I think, but I think he'll be proved right. I think we'll sign him. But beyond that, what I want to say is this. My theory beyond Wan Bissaka is that the reason it's very quiet around the centre-back, around Tielemans, around Bruno Fernandes. I mean, United are interested in Tielemans. United are interested in Bruno Fernandes. United are interested in Harry Maguire, who just happened to be next to me as well. Great timing on the graphics there, Drawty. But what I think is happening at Manchester United is this guy. I think this is what's happening, and I think this is why we've kept Wan Mata. I think that Manchester United think they can keep Paul Pogba. But they can't talk to Paul Pogba at the moment because he's on a tour of Asia. So Paul Pogba will be back in July, which is still 12 days away, just under 2 weeks away. So United are waiting to speak to Paul Pogba to try and keep him at the club. And then if he stays at the club, there's certain players that they're interested in that they won't sign anyway. But on top of that, I think United probably are aware that if they wait for Pogba, they might not get Bruno Fernandes because he might go somewhere else. They might not get Yuri Tielemans because he might go somewhere else. And hence, that's why I think they've kept Wan Mata, because I think they're like, well, if Pogba goes and we miss our targets trying to get Pogba to stay, we better keep Mata, because otherwise we're going to be really short. So I think that's what's happening. I think the reason it's quiet with the midfield targets is because they're waiting to see what's going to happen with Paul Pogba. And I can see people in the live comments saying, well, that's ridiculous, Mark, because we needed to sign midfielders anyway. And I think you're right. I think you are. But I don't think the midfielders we were going to sign are the ones that we might sign if Pogba goes. I don't think Tielemans was considered until the Pogba thing was happening. Bruno Fernandes is interesting. I don't really know what's going on with that now, because that's the one player that I know United was a high priority player for a very long time. They've scouted him nearly all of last season, and he is a high priority player. Now, maybe they're playing the long game. Maybe they are playing the long game with Bruno Fernandes, and maybe they're trying to get the price down. I don't know what they're doing with that, but I am a little bit concerned about it now, because I think what we have seen from this transfer window, and the evidence is there, is that United's targets in May are not their targets now, and they're changing targets very, very quickly. Like in May, we wanted Koulibaly. At the start of June, I think we thought we could get De Ligt. Then I think we were looking at Maguire, but it was too expensive. And now we're looking at Issa Diop. That's 4 different targets in the space of a month. The right back, there was always a feeling that Manchester United were going to go for Thomas Meunier, a more experienced right back to nurture Dalot for 2 years. Wan Bissaka himself said at the end of April he's staying at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace said they're not selling Wan Bissaka. And then at the end of May, well, start of June really, suddenly United negotiate with Wan Bissaka. And again, it's a change of target. And now, Tielemans, who United were not looking at, is now, we are looking at you if Pogba goes. United are changing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We've seen it happen before. We thought we were getting Griezmann 2 years ago, the transfer ban for Atletico Madrid, and he turned his back on us. So, transfer summers are very fluid, and you have to be fluid. But I think United are a bit too fluid at the moment. I think they're water. I think they are so fluid. They're moving from one to another and back again and this, that and the other. And I think that's why there's no concrete. There's no set hard. It's wet concrete. It's slipping around all over the place. So, yeah, I think that's what's happening with United at the moment. I think there's a lot of quietness around the centre-back. Well, no, there's a little bit around the centre-back, let's be honest. There is a little bit around the centre-back. There's a lot of things around Harry Maguire. There's a lot around Diop. So there is talk around the centre-backs. But the midfield options, it's very, very quiet. And you can't get much out of any people who maybe in the past have given you stuff as well. So, and the right wing position, it's dead silent, and that could be a really bad thing, because it could be because we're going to put Dalot there. I don't know what's going on with the right wing. Nobody does. It's so quiet. There's no stories coming out about the right winger, and it's very quiet on the midfielder. Right back, we're red hot. We're going to sort that right back out. Centre back, lukewarm. There's stuff going on. Midfield, tepid warm. It's hard. That's not even a word. It's very, very cool. Right wing, it's dead. There's no talk about it at all. But I feel that that's what it's all about. I think United are panicking about Pogba and not doing business on midfielders. James Howell says, Pogba go away, let's get top 4 value for him. No shame for performance last 2 fixtures of the campaign. He made himself lose respect, not worthy of the shirt. Pogba will always divide opinion. But it's funny about Pogba because I saw a tweet today where somebody was quoting all of Paul Pogba's stats, which are very good for last year. And then above the stats, they said, and can't believe United fans want him to go. And I quote tweeted it and said, can't believe you don't understand that Pogba wants to go. Whether you want Pogba to go or not, I haven't really thought it through. I think it's the right time for him to go. But the point is, he wants to go. He's the one who started this conversation. Elric Jar Milkelborg says, who should be captain? No leaders in the squad now. I think what will happen is Ashley Young will be captain next season. I don't know whether he will start many games, but he'll be club captain. Team captain, they'll probably offer it to Pogba to try and get him to stay, to be honest. I think they will. I think United are desperate to keep Paul Pogba. And I think they're wrong to be that desperate, because when a player wants to go, they want to go. And you can't throw money at a player to change their mind. You can, we will, but is it right to change? I mean, it's like, you know what it's like with Pogba? It's like, you're married to this gorgeous person, but they've never been happy. You're off out to the Chinese and they're like, don't really like this. What do you like? I don't know, I fancied an Indian. All right, we're off to the Indian takeaway. Oh, I don't really like this. I can't make you happy. What do you want? What do you want? I buy you the best things. We go to the best holidays. You're never happy. One night a week, you're in great form. The rest of it, you're just boring and inconsistent. What am I supposed to do? I love you, but you're not giving me anything back. And I think that's what's going on with Pogba. United are like, well, and in that marriage, Pogba said, you know what? I've not been happy. I'm not consistently happy. I think we need to part ways. I think we need to have a divorce. And what United should do is go, yes, bing, light in the head. It's obvious to me now. I can't make you happy because you're not consistently happy. Let's have a divorce. But I think what United are going to do is go, no, I'm not giving you a divorce. You can have everything. I'm going to give you more money, chuck everything at you to try and make you happy. And you know what? I've just answered the age-old question there. If you're in a marriage and the other half wants to go because it's not working out, do you solve it by throwing them loads of money and buying them more things? No, you don't. That's not why they're unhappy. They're unhappy because of something else. But I think United will try and chuck a load of money at Pogba and give him the captaincy. But is that going to make him happy? I don't think it is. I don't really think he wants to be at United anymore. And I think, as hard as it is, I think we should try and respect that. Sam says, he's telling that Mata's contract is 3 years. He's being kept to provide continuity in amongst a massive rebuild. Don't worry, United will spend. Look, I hope you're right there, Sam. And I do, and have said this a lot. I think De Gea's staying at Manchester United. I think he'll sign a new contract. I think that's going to be a very positive thing. And I think Pogba's going. And a lot of the people at the start, and I've read it on Reddit groups, and I've read it on Twitter, and the vast majority of the in-the-knows, who don't know anything, have said, Pogba's definitely going to stay, De Gea's going to go. And I've said the opposite. I think De Gea's going to stay and I think Pogba's going to go. But we'll wait and see. We should not keep a player who wants to go. When did the financial benefit of keeping a player over the fan base, says Manish. Good point. White Sodas with his Jelly Baby. Yeah, we are a team of Jelly Babies, White Soda. Pink Gloves, White Soda. Yeah. I haven't seen some of the emojis for a long time. So remember, if you are a member of the United Stand Members Club, you get your little badge next to your name, which changes every month you're a member, but also you get access to the emojis, and that's why you can see the exclusive United Stand emojis in there. If De Gea goes, that's bad because we will need to sign a keeper, says Lee Newman. I don't think United can afford to lose De Gea, can they? I really don't. But in summary as to where we are then, Wan Mata has signed a new contract with Manchester United. It is official. It is the worst contract renewal. I mean, it should have been 1 year. It's 2 years with the option of another year, so it's effectively could be 3 years. Ridiculous. And you know what? I just want to say this very, very quickly. I like Wan Mata. I really like Wan Mata. I think he's a brilliant footballer. Was a brilliant footballer. I saw him last season. He was atrocious in loads of games. I know he had 1 or 2 games where we played him in the number 10 position and he did well, but he had a lot of bad games. And for everybody who says he's a good player to keep around the place, I will say to them, did you watch him last season? Because that's not Wan Mata last year. That's not the Wan Mata we loved last year. He has lost something. He has lost a yard of pace, and he didn't have much anyway, and he's on the decline. And we've kept a player like that for 2, maybe 3 years. It's just ridiculously wrong. Like, I love Ollie, I love the club, but what are they doing with their eyes? Like, he was bad last season. That's the thing. I love Wan Mata, and I like the people who defend Wan Mata, but I'm saying to you, he was bad last season. It's a bad deal. Aaron Wan Bissaka, £55 million deal. Apparently that's been agreed. This is coming from Duncan Castles. Some people are saying it's not agreed. As I said, I think he is going to sign for United. And I think what's happened there, it's either been leaked by the club to counteract the negativity of the Mata deal, to give us some positivity, which I like, if they've done that, or the journalist who's saying it's happened is just jumping on the favourite a little bit soon to try and, when it happens, say, look, I was right. But I think he will be proved right, but maybe there's a little bit of guesswork involved. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video and make sure you subscribe if you are new. Bottom right hand corner, the road to 500,000 is up and running. Really enjoyed the show again tonight. If you want to, lots of stuff going on with the United Stand FC, by the way. We've got a new video coming up on Saturday. If we don't sign anyone on Saturday morning, we'll put the video up of our latest game. You can get United Stand FC merch, link in the video description, or your standard United Stand merch, which is a different badge, hoodies, polo shirts, what have you. And interesting news with United Stand FC as well. I think we've got our own home ground now sorted for the next few months. So when we're playing games, we'll be able to say that's our home ground. Come down. I think it's an all-seater stadium as well. I think there are some seats, but please do bring your own. But yeah, some exciting stuff going on. Really excited with that, and really want to grow it. So yeah. But obviously, we're never going to lose focus from the fact that we're Manchester United fan channel. We love the club, and hopefully it's about to get back on track. Chris J. Satar says, why not De Gea as field captain? Been great for us over the years. I think he will stay. I'd rather De Gea have captain. Please leave Pogba. I would take De Gea as captain over Pogba as well. I would. Thanks everyone for watching. Back tomorrow morning at 7 AM with Transfer Daily. Interesting story for you. It might not be the headline story. Something else might happen tonight. But I have got an idea on a very interesting story I've been researching today. And what else? We'll go live later if there's anything to happen. But if not, 7 AM tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Brilliant graphics by Drawty again. I love these little slides that are going along while I'm talking. I shall see you tomorrow, if not before.